Good morning, this is Ron Brown. It is September 26th, 7:18 in the morning, and I have some very exciting information here to share with you. We just got this yesterday, Jeffrey and I, and Matt and George have been working on this a long time. Matt primarily, it's required a lot of coding, but something that's been on the wish list for many years is User SmartGroups, and we finally have them. Now, I'm just getting familiar with this myself. I've just had this version for a day, and by the way, you'll be getting it towards the end of next week after we have a chance to thoroughly test it and make sure there aren't any bugs that would make the program crash, but it's been pretty clean so far. I haven't really run into any problems. The new feature, by the way, before I get started on this, and this is going to be a limited overview, by the way, because I'm just getting familiar with it. I've had about, right at 50 people that said they're interested in doing the webinar series, so I'm going to go ahead and do it. I'll provide a link in the email that I send out where you can sign up. But you have to be a member of the Insider Club, and then the fee is only $100, which is a real bargain. And I'll be covering a lot of these smart groups in the webinar series, because this is a tremendous time savings, as you'll see and as you begin to work with it. Getting back to the webinar series, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, rather than having 2 sessions a week where there are a lot of distractions, it just happens that way because people have questions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send a video out. I'll begin this webinar series this week of October 4th. What I'll do is I will send a video out about what I want to discuss on Thursday, show you some techniques. You can practice them, and then you can answer or ask me, think about questions you want to ask me in the Thursday session. I don't know exactly how this is going to go, but it will be interesting, and it'll be essentially how to use HGSI from the top down, and then we're going to, of course, incorporate these new smart groups. So the first session, well, I'll send a video out. I may send it out on Saturday, and it's going to go to all members of the Insider Club, not just those who signed up for the webinar series, but on Thursdays, only those who have signed up and paid the $100 are going to have access to that session. I think this is a very fair way to do it because nobody will be left behind, and yet if you want to participate in the webinars, the live webinars, it's only going to be $100. So I'm planning to start the videos this week, and the first live session will be on the 8th of October, Thursday the 8th, and that will run from approximately 2:30 to 3:30 Central Time. Anyway, let's get back to this, and I'll show you a few things. I'm not going to go into depth. I just want you to get excited about this because it is very exciting. On the new version of the software, you're going to find this little icon up here. It's called Manage User Groups, and I put together 5 smart groups here that I've just been playing with. I don't know if I'll keep these or not. I just needed to get a feel for what this would do. And here's one I called Box Stocks Low Pivot. By the way, if you put this, when you create these smart groups, if you put the percentage date, percentage signs in here, what this does is it applies a date to the smart group, and then when the smart group is run, it's going to have a date in front of it. Now I'm just going to I'll go ahead and open this up, and so this is box stocks low pivot. This locates box stocks having a low pivot. The fan is up. My source group, what I wanted to do is I wanted to go in to the box stocks, or the consistent earnings growth under Ian Woodward and Ron Brown, and use the consistent earnings growth because I'm looking for stocks that have consistent earnings and they are forming a low pivot and the fan is up. So that is my source group, as you can see, and then the filter I'm using. These are unconfirmed low pivots, all securities, fan up, and this is the criteria that I use. Next is a combo ranking, and I want percentage range. I want the stocks that closed highest in their range to come to the top of the list. I'll click on OK, and then down here I can generate an index if I want to. Place index in the group above. I can use all securities for this, but that kind of defeats what we're trying to do, so I'm just using a number, and in this instance I want 25 stocks if they're available. You have the choice of top percentage also. I'm finding having a standard number is probably best for me, but you can use whatever you want to on here. Okay, that's one, and then I did the same thing intraday. This will work on intraday. Let's edit this. And the difference here is same source group. The filter is the same, but the combo ranking is percent range and volume intraday. So using this combo, if I run this intraday, it's going to locate these stocks, and I don't have to wait for end of day. This is something I'm trying. I believe it works well. Like I said, I just got this yesterday, so I'm going to have to wait and see. Here's intraday growth stocks up. Let's just look at this one. I'm using all securities here. Intraday, I'm looking for growth stocks that are moving up, trading 250,000 shares. I want EPS rank and EPS previous at 20%. This would represent growth stocks. And I'm looking for ERG stocks that have a positive ERG. Let's change this. I'm going to change this to, let's make it 180. And here's the combo rank. This time I'm looking for 50 stocks, so you can vary that. Here's a VPOC crossover, volume point of control crossover. All securities, my crossover filter, fan up, and then here's an intraday combo. So I'm using an intraday filter and an intraday combo. And then this one, last week or 2 weeks ago, I showed you how you can use the GIR to locate demand stocks. Well, now we can do it with a smart group. And once again, all securities. The filter I'm using is the demand wider spread on higher volume, and these are Wyckoff, what I call Wyckoff fields, and then I'm using wider spread on higher volume. I'm using the combo that goes along with this. Now this is something I just put together this morning. I'm going to try this intraday on Monday, building one intraday, and see if that works. So I'm going to close these. I'm going to rebuild the smart groups. Any changes will be applied here. So this is an older development machine. That's why it's a little bit slow. Let's go to this. I'll take the filter off here. Okay, so box stocks, low pivot. I'll click through. Let's go up here. I'll just do my early morning folder, and I'll do these scorecard end of day. So what am I looking for? I'm looking for box stocks with a low pivot. Now if you look over here to the right, here, these are box stocks. So you can see that it went in, it only pulled up the box stocks. And I'm looking for a low pivot, so I'm going to bring a chart up here, a couple of charts, and this line represents a low pivot. And you can see there's a low pivot here, low pivot here. There was a low pivot back here. And you can see the date on this is the 25th. There's a low pivot. So it's going in and looking for these stocks that have a low pivot. The point is, if rather than going to a warehouse and making a group and so on, you can have these smart groups do the work for you. And I certainly don't know all the possibilities yet, but I think it's pretty unlimited. Now let's go to this Wyckoff demand stocks. Before I do that, though, I want to mention something before I forget about it. Now, I put a user group folder up here. Here's box stocks with low pivot smart groups, and what I have done is I've just dragged these up into this so I can keep a running record of these smart groups. Now, I have not populated the Wyckoff stocks in demand, so what I would do is I would just put that up here, and you can see that I've saved that now. And then on Monday there will be another one, and I'll just keep adding to these groups. Now, I don't imagine, I think you're going to find that you have a few smart groups that you like to work with, and there won't be that many to keep track of. But I think it's probably a very good idea to have the history of the smart groups just to see how they're working out. If they aren't working, get rid of them, make a new smart group. Okay, so I'm going to go back to this new smart group here. I'm going to, I'm at stocks end of day. You can see that this is all green in here. If I want to change to the Wyckoff demand scan, which is really, it's the scan that the filter is attached to, I can do that. And I'll close this right here, and you can see a lot of green here. So if I, let's see here. Well, this is Piton. This one's kind of been all over the place recently, but you can see that there's an effort to rise. Let me zoom in on this. Get this out of the way. And there is a green area here, here, because I'm using the warehouse, which goes along with this warehouse view, which goes along with this scan. It's the demand scan, and whenever the conditions are true on this chart here, there's going to be a green area. So all these green areas means that at that point, this stock, Piton, was passing this demand filter. I'll put a crosshair on here. So here, 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 here. All these were demand areas, and then there was a reversal here for a day, and then a demand area yesterday. Now if I switch over to my Wyckoff VFB charts, which you will have or you should have, I'm just going to click on this, and you can see that these green bars correspond to where the demand was. I've thrown a lot of information at you here. This is all new to me too, but I can see the potential of this just really cutting down on the time that we have to spend prospecting for stocks. Now, like I said, you'll have this late next week, and I'll start the webinar series the following week, and we'll really get into this on in depth, and we'll go ahead and build some smart groups during those sessions. I'll probably build one in the first video, but I want to talk about other aspects of HGSI and not just focus on this new feature. Thanks for listening. Have a good weekend, and I will